Hi everyone, welcome to our channel. So this is Angular 16 CRUD example series and it is part 3 video. In this video we are going to implement create operation. Okay, previously we implemented read operation, right? Now we are going to implement the create operation. So for that, just like read operation, how we created one separate component. For create also, let's create a new component. And command is like ng generate component. And I want to create the new component inside of the superheroes folder. So let me specify the folder path. Okay. And let's give the name of our component. So my component name is like add superheroes. Okay, and I don't want any spec files. If okay, so let's run the command, and here we can see a new component is created. Now, if I check folder structure inside of the superheroes folder, we have another new component folder that is add superheroes, right? So let's first configure the route for this new component. So for configuring routing, we know we had a file like app routing module. Okay, here let's add new object, okay, for routing. So let's give path. So I will give path like add, okay, and we should map the component for the route. Okay, so add superheroes is our component, and here it got imported. Okay, now if I try to access the new path, see here, I am able to access the new path, and this is the sample HTML content in our new component. Okay, first let's create our create API endpoint. So if you go to the JSON server documentation, okay, and here you can see it support all kind of endpoint, means we can do complete CRUD using this JSON server. Okay, so let's go to our service file. A service file. So here let's add new method like add. Okay, so for adding we should send the payload, means form data. Okay, so here payload of type superheroes object. Okay, now here I can return this dot http. So creating means post request. So to represent the post request, we will have a post method here. Okay, and to this method I have to pass the URL. So if you observe the JSON server, almost post endpoint also same. Okay, so let me copy this entire URL, okay, and give it here. Okay, remove the unnecessary quotes, and here we have to send the payload as the second parameter to the post method. Okay, that is the required logic in our service file. Okay, now let's close this file and let me open the our new add superheroes component. Okay, so first thing is I need to define a form for creating the new item or the new superhero, right? So here I have to define the form first. Okay, let me add a Angular material card component. So go to Angular material website, go to components and go to cards. Okay, here what I will do means here I just need a mat card tag. So just copy this mat card tag, okay, and add it here. I will add a div inside of it. Okay. And I will add a form inside of it. Okay. So for creating a form for our superheroes, so what are the fields we have to display? Form fields. We should have field for name, image URL, and franchise, right? Go to our Angular material and go for form fields. Okay. And go to examples. And I want this kind of form field. Okay. Let me copy this mat form field. Okay. And add it here. Okay. I don't want any icon at the end. I don't want any material hint. Okay. Just a label and the input field. Okay. And this label should be name. Okay. Placeholder. I don't want any placeholder. Okay. If I try to check website now, see here I am getting some error. Mat form field is unknown element. That means we know we need to do some imports. Okay. Let's first import the mat form field module. So we know our imports must go to app module, right? So here let me add the mat form module, and same thing we have to add it in imports array. Okay. Now let's check. Okay. But here text is not as good as this text field, right? That is because I need to import one more component, that is input field, mat input field. For that, go to input field, okay, and go to API and import the mat input, okay. So copy that and add the import here and copy the module and add it inside of the imports array. Okay, now let's check the output. See, now bit better, right? So now what I will do, I am going to add one more form field in my HTML. Okay, so that is for image URL. Okay, so let me give image URL. Okay, so to get familiar with more different components in Angular material, for franchise, I am going to use the drop down. Okay, so if I go to a drop down, we have to go to select component. Okay, select a tab. So go to examples. Okay, I just want normal this kind of uh, form field. Okay, so let me copy this select form field. Okay, and add it here. Since this is mat select, right? So we have to import its module. So copy the module as well, and in our app module, add the select module, mat select module, and add it inside of the imports array also. Okay, and here we need to do few changes. Okay, let me remove this disabled attribute for now. Okay, so here mat label will be franchise. Okay, and here I'm going to have two options. One is like Marvel franchise, and another thing is like DC. Okay, so let me remove this disabled attribute and value will be Marvel and DC. So here value will be saved at the server. Here this will be representation of our dropdown. Okay, and let's remove this additional option. Now check the output. Okay, I am getting franchise drop down, right? Next, I have gender, right? So for gender, I want to use the radio buttons. Okay, go to radio buttons. Okay, and take this example and copy this one, add it here. Okay, and here options will be like male, female. Okay, and their values male and female. Okay, and the next thing we have to import its module also. So copy this and go to our app module and add it here, and also add in the imports array mat radio module. Okay, so let's check. See, now we are getting the data, uh, but everything is coming side by side, right? So I want them to display one after another. Okay, so for that, let me add some stylings here. So go to add superheroes component.css, add a class like form container, okay, and here display flex, okay, and I want each field one after another, means one by one row. So for that we have to use flex direction like column, okay. So let's add this form container to our form element, okay. Class like form. Okay, let's check the output. Okay, now I am getting one by one. Okay, now I want to display this form in the center and not this much big. I want to make it some little bit small form. Okay, so for that what I will do, I will create one more class like card container. Okay, and here display flex. Okay, and justify content center. I want some margin top in pics. Okay, so what I will do, I am going to apply the styles. So for that, I will add one more div top of this part. Okay, okay, and move the entire content inside to it. Okay, and let me add a class and added the card container here. Okay, so it is centered, but it is coming very small, right? So let's give some width here for the card. Okay, so for that, what I will do, let me add one more class like card. Okay, and I will give width like some 800 pixels. Okay, so what I will do, I am going to apply that card class on this mat card. Okay, card. Now form is little bit reasonable, right? So now the thing is, whenever I am going to add a image URL, I want to display some kind of image preview. Okay, so for that what I will do, so here after the form I will add one more div. Okay, and here I am going to add some image tag. Okay, so img self-close in tag and src for now empty and some alt like super image. Okay, so if I check now, the image is coming down, right? But I want to come side by side. So for that, what I will do, I am going to use this same card container class on this div. Okay. So inside of this div, I have form element and the preview div. Okay. Now check. See. Now they are coming side by side, right? So now what I will do, I need some spacing between them. So for that, what I will do, it is margin top cells. Now check the top. Now I am getting some space. So now I want a space between image preview and the form field. So for that, what I will do, here in the container itself, I will add it like column gap, okay, to RAM, okay. See now, so there is some gap between the image preview and the box, right? So here instead of normal image, I want to make this image preview as a material image. So for that, can get that one attribute. For that, go to cards example and go to the examples. Here image is there, right? If I check this image tag, yes, mat card image attribute. Let's add this image attribute here. Let's go to the HTML and here in the image tag, let's add this image tag attribute. Okay. And next thing is these form fields are very small, right? So let's give some width for them. So what I will do, I will directly apply the width, okay, for each form field. So we'll apply style like width 400 pixels. Let's check. So let me add same thing here. I'm guessing missing double quote. Okay. Now form little better, right? Next thing I want to do is I want to add a header for this form. Okay. So for that, let me create one more div on top. Okay. So here I am going to add heading like some h4 tag, create a superhero. Okay. Let's check. Right. Create a superhero. Let's give like h2 to get some boldness. Okay. Create superhero. That is my form. Instead of that, I can use one of the material component like chip effect. This kind of effect we can get. Okay, so for that, take one of the example. Okay, let's take this example, mat chip list. Okay, and add it here. And let me remove the list. I just want one, that too, I want to display my heading. So here I am going to add. Okay, since here I am using one more component, right? So we have to import the module as well, chip module, material chip module. So add it in the app module, and mat chip module must also add it in the imports array. Okay, now let's check whether any better form we are getting. Okay, what I will do, I will simply remove these h2 tags. Let me check the output. Okay, it's little better with some good styling. Now let me add a button at the bottom of this form. Okay, so for that, let's go to buttons component. So where are the buttons? Button. Okay, I want this kind of button. Okay, some primary with raised kind of button. So let me copy this button. Okay, so add it next to the mat form field, but here let me give some styling like margin for top and bottom. Okay, sorry, not slot, style, margin, 10 pixels top and bottom, 0 on right hand side and left hand side. Okay, and this button label must be add. Okay, I need to import the button module as well. That is why here I am not getting good styling effect. Okay, copy this. So, so copy this and go to app module, add mat button module as well. Okay, sorry for that. Now check the output. Okay, we are getting good button with primary color effect. Okay, so now I want to use React to form approach for reading or binding data to the form. Okay, so the form HTML content implementation is done. I want to use React to form approach to read the form data. Okay, so for that, go to add component, add superheroes component.ts, and here let me add the constructor. Okay, okay, and here I'm going to use private FB form builder. Okay, it is a default a service where we can build the reactive forms. Since I'm using form builder, right? So we have to import the reactive form module in our app module. So go to app module. Okay, here import reactive form module. Okay, that comes from the @angular/forms. Okay, now get back to our TS file. Okay, so here I have to prepare a form object like add superhero form. Okay, and using the form builder, I can create a group. Okay, so this group we will have each form field. Okay, so here just like so here what we contain means form field variable names. Okay, so those are equal to our payload name, image URL, franchise. Okay, so I am going to use same names, a name and array. First value in the array will be the default value. That means empty value. Okay, same way image URL default empty value. Okay, and franchise. If you have any doubt, just copy from this. Okay, here comma missing. Okay, and gender. Okay, so I have to map this reactive form to my HTML content. So for that, go to our add superhero component.html. First, I have to create a form group here. Okay, so here on the form element, I need to add a attribute like form group. Okay, it should be assigned with our dynamic value, right? So it should be encapsulated around flower brackets. Okay, so form group add here. sorry, what is my variable name? Add superhero. Okay. Now to each field, we have to map with the properties of the form variable. So to map them, I can use an attribute like form control. Okay. So here on form control name. Okay. Like this, I have to add the attribute, and this attribute values will be our form field values. Okay. So it must be added to input fields. Okay. So for the select, it should be added. For radio button group should be added. So let me copy the each individual property and map them here. Okay. Name, image URL. Okay. And franchise and the gender. Here it should be gender, and this should be image URL, and this should be franchise. Okay, now I mapped. So on button click, we must raise an event. So for that, on form, I can check for ng submit. So it won't reload the form. It just invokes the method that we are going to register for this ng submit event. Okay. So this event will raise whenever we click on our add button. Okay. So in here, let me create a method like create. Okay. So let me register this method here. So now for now what I will do, I will just console log and check whether I am able to read the form data or not. So for that I can use console.log and I can use the my form variable, okay, dot value, going to give entire form object. Okay, let's check. So something is missing. Form group. It should not be capital F, it should be small f, I think. Form group. Let's check again. Okay, now I am good. Let me create a new superhero like Spider-Man. Okay, franchise will be Marvel, mail, and let me get some URL, image URL. Okay, I added image URL. Let me click on the add button. Before clicking that, let me open the inspect element for a developer control and go to console and click on the add. See, I'm getting my entire form data with values. That means I'm successfully able to read the form data using Angular React to Form approach. Okay. So now what I will do, once the URL is added here, I want to preview it here. So for that, what I can do means in the HTML, here src currently empty, right? Here I can add a expression here. So expression also we can do by flower brackets. Okay. So to read the form control, react to form control, what we have to do means this dot add superheroes form dot get, and here we have to specify the name of the control. So here I want to get the image URL, right? Image URL control. Okay, add it here. Dot value. Okay, like this I can read the form data. So copy this and add it here. Not empty. Then I want to display it. Okay. If at all it is empty, then I want to display some data. So for SRC, let me give single quotes because in the expression I am using double quotes, right? So for SRC, let me give single quote. Okay, let's check now. Sorry, I have given this entire expression out of the flower brackets. Cut that and add it here, expression. Okay. Image URL, image. I think I'm good with everything. Yes. Okay, still I'm getting a issue. What is that? Okay, let me give double quotes outside and give single quotes inside. Yeah, now it is gone. Now let me add again. Man. Now if I add image URL, see, I am getting preview, but it is disturbing my entire view, right? So let me give width and height for the image preview. Okay, style with 300 pixels, height 300 pixels. Okay, let's give image URL again. Okay, that didn't work. Let me give them directly on the image tag. Okay, now little better, right? Preview. So I can give Spider-Man and franchise and mail. So on clicking add, I have to create a new item at the server. So, but initially we are not getting any preview, right? For that, we can add some preview image. In the component itself, I will create a variable like no image. Okay, some dummy image I am giving. Okay, so here I am going to use this image whenever the form is empty. Here I am already using empty variable, right? Instead of that, I am going to use that variable. Okay, so I will get initially some photo. Okay, I didn't save the TS file. Save it. Now check. Now I am getting some preview, right? So we are fully done with our form data. And final step is we need to integrate our create API call. So for that we have to inject our service. Okay, private superhero service. Okay, superhero service. Import the namespace. And here what I will do, this dot superhero service dot add, and I am going to pass my form data directly as a payload. Okay, dot subscribe. Okay, on successful creation. Okay, we have to write some logic. So here what I will do, I am going to typecast it as superheroes object. Okay, as superhero type. Okay, so on successfully saved, I want to redirect back to my home page. Okay, so for that I need to import one more Angular service like router. Okay, so private router. Okay, that comes from Angular routing. So using this I can navigate on successful save. So router dot navigate and array, inside of that array our path. Since my returning path is home path, right? So simply specify slash. Okay, that's it. That is the end of our logic. So let's test it. So I am adding new superhero, franchise Marvel and mail, and let's add image URL. Okay, image URL added. Now click on add. See, I'm getting newly created record. If I check network calls, see this first call is my HTTP post request and it is returning status 201. That means item is created. And second call is our get request. Once we enter into our home component, again invoking our get request. And here is our get data. So we are successfully done implementing the create operation. Next, we are going to implement the update operation. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this video delivered some useful content to you all. If you like the video, please do support by subscribing to the channel and please don't forget to like and share the video. Soon we are going to meet with new content. Until then, signing off.